In today's fast-paced world, information, both true and false, spreads like wildfire across the internet. Recently, the digital sphere has been abuzz with startling claims about two iconic American companies, Ford Motor Company and John Deere. These rumors suggested that both manufacturing giants were planning to cease their operations within the United States, causing widespread concern. The speed at which these claims circulated highlights the power of social media in shaping public perception. Understanding the origin and veracity of such reports is crucial, as misinformation can have tangible consequences. This essay aims to delve into these recent rumors concerning Ford and John Deere, exploring the nature of the misinformation and the actual events. In early May 2025, a particularly alarming rumor began to circulate online. This rumor alleged that Ford Motor Company was shutting down all its U.S. production facilities. The claim suggested a complete withdrawal, with Ford planning to relocate its entire manufacturing base overseas. These dramatic assertions gained significant traction, particularly on video-sharing platforms like YouTube. One video, titled "Ford Shuts Down Production in U.S. and Trump's Reaction Says It All," amassed hundreds of thousands of views. However, a crucial element was missing: corroboration from credible news organizations. The absence of official statements from Ford or independent verification suggested that the narrative of Ford's American exit was a gross misrepresentation. The primary vectors for the spread of these false claims about Ford's supposed U.S. exit were specific YouTube channels, notably Auto Central and Auto Edge. These channels played a pivotal role in amplifying the narrative, presenting conjecture and fabricated scenarios as factual news. Their content often relied on sensational headlines, emotionally charged language, and AI-generated imagery to create a veneer of authenticity. The videos were designed to provoke strong reactions, thereby increasing views, shares, and engagement. Investigations revealed a pattern. Auto Central and Auto Edge had a history of publishing similar alarming yet baseless claims about other major corporations. The use of AI-generated images is particularly concerning, as these tools can create highly realistic, yet entirely fictional, scenes. This visual evidence lends an unwarranted air of credibility to the false narratives, making them more persuasive and harder to debunk. The success of these channels underscores a broader challenge in the digital age. The democratization of content creation also means the democratization of misinformation. Contrary to the alarming rumors, Ford Motor Company has made no announcements regarding the shutdown of its U.S. production facilities. Ford maintains a significant and robust presence within the United States, operating 24 manufacturing plants across the country. The company is the leading producer of vehicles in America, assembling more cars, trucks, and SUVs on U.S. soil than any other automotive manufacturer. Ford is also the United States' largest exporter of vehicles, shipping American-made products to markets around the globe. Regarding the impact of President Trump's tariffs, Ford has acknowledged the financial challenges these trade policies present. On May 5, 2025, Ford announced a substantial $1.5 billion impact from the newly imposed tariffs. However, a Ford spokesperson confirmed that there are no plans to shift production back to the U.S. or to exit the American market. These facts paint a picture starkly different from the narrative of retreat and closure promoted by the misinformation campaigns. While the Ford rumors were false, the situation with John Deere involved a different set of circumstances. In September 2024, John Deere announced a series of layoffs affecting over 800 workers in its Illinois and Iowa facilities. The company also revealed plans to shift some specific production activities to a new facility in Ramos, Mexico. John Deere attributed these decisions to rising operational costs within the United States and a decline in demand for its products. This strategic shift would allow John Deere to manage expenses more effectively and concentrate its U.S.-based resources on more technologically advanced manufacturing activities. Former President Donald Trump responded forcefully to John Deere's plans, threatening to impose a 200% tariff on John Deere products if the company proceeded with relocating production to Mexico. In response, John Deere emphasized its continued commitment to manufacturing within the United States, highlighting significant investments in domestic facilities. The company reiterated that the planned moves were limited in scope and part of a broader strategy to ensure the long-term viability of its U.S. operations. The market reaction to Trump's threat was initially a brief dip in John Deere's stock price, but it recovered quickly. Former President Donald Trump's approach to international trade and domestic manufacturing has been characterized by a strong protectionist stance, often encapsulated by his "America First" slogan. A central pillar of this economic philosophy has been the strategic use of tariffs, which are taxes imposed on imported goods. The underlying aim of these tariffs is to make foreign products more expensive, thereby encouraging American consumers and businesses to buy domestically produced goods. Throughout his presidency and in subsequent policy discussions, Trump has advocated for significant tariff measures. For instance, he proposed a sweeping worldwide tariff of 10% on all goods imported into the United States. More specifically, he announced intentions for a 60% tariff on goods imported from China. The automotive industry has been a particular focus of these tariff policies. On April 3, 2025, Trump signed an executive order imposing a 25% tariff on all imported vehicles. Additional levies were slated to be enforced from May 3, 2025, targeting imported automotive parts that did not comply with the updated USMCA rules of origin. While proponents argue that tariffs can shield domestic industries and jobs, opponents point to potential negative consequences, including retaliatory tariffs and increased costs for consumers. When news, or even rumors, of major American companies potentially reducing their U.S. footprint emerges, it often elicits a strong response from political leaders, particularly former President Donald Trump. Regarding the false claims in May 2025 that Ford was shutting down all U.S. production, the misinformation itself incorporated a fabricated response from Trump. The YouTube videos promoting this falsehood featured AI-generated images of an angry-looking Trump, implying his outrage at Ford's supposed decision. However, it is crucial to distinguish this manufactured element from Trump's actual responses to real corporate decisions. In the case of John Deere's announcement in September 2024 about shifting some production to Mexico, Trump's reaction was swift and direct. He publicly threatened John Deere with a 200% tariff on their products if they followed through with these plans. This threat underscored his consistent message of penalizing companies that move manufacturing jobs out of the United States. Trump's criticism of John Deere centered on the perception that the company was prioritizing cost reduction by moving to Mexico while potentially keeping prices high for American consumers. This pattern of direct engagement and public pressure on corporations is a hallmark of Trump's approach to economic policy. The episodes involving Ford and John Deere serve as potent reminders of the need to differentiate between corporate strategies and sensationalized narratives. In Ford's case, the May 2025 rumors of a complete U.S. production shutdown were entirely baseless. The reality, as confirmed by Ford, is that the company remains deeply invested in American manufacturing. For John Deere, the situation was more nuanced. The company did announce plans for layoffs and the relocation of some production tasks to Mexico. This was a strategic business decision driven by rising costs and declining demand, aimed at improving efficiency. While this move attracted criticism and tariff threats from Trump, it was a calculated adjustment, not a wholesale abandonment of its American commitments. The stark contrast between the rumored mass exodus of Ford and the company's actual navigation of tariff impacts highlights the dangers of accepting online claims at face value. The YouTube channels responsible for the Ford misinformation demonstrated a pattern of fabricating similar stories about other companies. This underscores a growing problem in the digital information ecosystem, where the lines between credible journalism and deceptive content can become blurred. Understanding the true state of affairs requires seeking information from reliable sources, such as established news organizations and official company statements. The recent whirlwind of rumors surrounding Ford and John Deere underscores a significant challenge of our modern, hyper-connected world: the difficulty of navigating a constant stream of information and distinguishing credible facts from misleading narratives. The claims that these industrial giants were on the verge of abandoning their American operations caused understandable alarm. However, the reality for both companies is far more complex and less dramatic than the online speculation suggested. Ford, despite facing new tariff-related costs, has not announced any plans to shut down its U.S. production or move overseas. John Deere, while making some adjustments by shifting limited production to Mexico, also maintains a significant U.S. manufacturing base. These facts stand in stark contrast to the sensationalized stories that gain traction online. Former President Trump's reactions highlight the intersection of corporate decision-making and political discourse. His protectionist policies create a challenging environment for companies reliant on global supply chains. Understanding this dynamic requires looking beyond headlines and considering the broader economic context. In an era where information can be created and disseminated with unprecedented speed, the onus is on individuals to cultivate critical thinking skills and seek out verified sources.